Hey folks, it's me, Jake Baldino, and today we're finally talking about the Steam Deck. Yes, we got one. We got a pre-order. We got lucky. We got it in our hands. I've been spending quite a bunch of time with this thing, and there's a lot to say. Full disclosure, I was very excited about the release of this device. I was really looking forward to it, but having touched other, manufacturers, smaller manufacturers that have tried this type of thing in the past, I think comparatively, the Steam Deck is a game changer. And I think it's a game changer for different types of people, whether you're a hardcore PC gamer or maybe this is your first foray into PC gaming at all. There's a lot to cover, from Valve to consumer freedom to the community around this thing itself. So let's just dive in. There's a lot to tackle, the good, the bad, and the annoying, but let's first talk about the hardware design. Steam Deck is big. Yeah, a lot of people have been observing that, but it's a bit big for certain bags, but I think that's glossing over the fact that it's surprisingly slim and not very heavy. The device is like 1.5 pounds, but those types of number specs are hard for me to grasp. The deck itself just feels way lighter than you'd expect. It looks like a chunky boy from some angles, but is surprisingly thin from others, kind of like me. What goes so well with the feel is the material used. It feels like a normal consumer product. It doesn't feel like a premium fancy device with hard metals and alloys or ultra finished plastics or, aluminum. It's not like a new iPad or like a Razer Blade or a Samsung Galaxy Fold. This is just a plastic thing you use, and it doesn't feel ultra heavy, ultra premium, or delicate. It just is. It's pretty unassuming, and it's not distracting, and that's what I actually like about it. Ergonomics wise, it feels really good. You're able to get a real good grip on it thanks to the dips in the back, and thankfully these extra buttons that Valve added, which are very nice, you're not really going to accidentally hit those. It feels less hand crampy than a Nintendo Switch, and just overall much better than something like the Aya Neo. That's the alternative Windows-based PC gaming device that has been around for a few years now. Now down to the actual individual buttons themselves, this is all super subjective and down to feel and personal preference, but I think it's mostly good. The top triggers, the L1 and R1 or right bumper, left bumper, leave a bit to be desired, but the triggers are solid enough. And the face buttons, your Y, A, B, X, they're a bit steep, but you get used to them, and they're totally fine. But if you play a muscle memory game like a Tony Hawk or a fighting game or even Sifu, you might notice it a bit more. It's not that big a deal though. But the joysticks, I think, are kind of a miracle. I was really skeptical of the placement of them when they announced this thing, but it feels totally good. And the joysticks themselves feel real and genuine, like they were ripped out of a smaller Xbox controller or something. They totally work, and they don't get sacrificed in the portability, which is what you usually see with devices like this. The one thing I'm not really digging are the two kind of touchpad trackpads on the sides. They're not quite as good as the Steam controller, which I know nobody really used that, so whatever. I thought it was cool, but here, these, they're just not quite as generally reliable. You can tweak the settings for them and use different profiles for different games, which does help, but I really like City Skylines, and I found it a bit annoying to play. It took some getting used to and tweaking with the trackpads, and I still never found it perfect. Now, again, I nitpick. I don't really like many PC trackpads at all, on laptops or anything, so that's just me. For what it is, for the necessary, it's fine. The thing is also super quiet as well. Now, it very much has a fan. You will be aware that it has a fan, but it's not that loud. It's nowhere near as obnoxious as it could be. We've used, a bunch of devices, like I said. We've played on gaming PCs, and we know how bad it can get, and it's pretty good here. And the speakers are surprisingly loud, too. Obviously, they're not insane, in terms of sound quality, you're not getting these amazing depths, but it sounds decent and they fire quite loud, so you might not even hear the fan much. The screen itself, too, is nice. It's not as exciting. There's not too much to say about it. Just don't expect to get too much use of it outside. It doesn't quite get bright enough, but it is a 7-inch LCD touchscreen that's 1280 by 800, and it more than gets the job done. The balance between performance and battery life seems to work out here, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, the big thing, let's get to, it's using the thing. The SteamOS interface is great, with the occasional weird little hiccups, but it is very user-friendly and pretty much wins points for taking the messiness of Windows out of PC gaming. This might make things a little bit more accessible to people who are new to PC gaming and just are picking up this device. It's simple on the surface for a beginner, but there's a massive layer underneath for messing around, almost like the tip of an iceberg thing. And I think ultimately, as you get acclimated to this device, you are going to be messing with some things. So you should know this device, I think, ultimately is for the tweaker, the fiddler, the person who likes to mess with settings, to kind of hack hack things, so to speak. People who want to have a level of control over their games and hardware to really get exactly what they want. Like Valve's Proton does a great job of running a lot of your favorite games, but every so often, you're going to need to dive in and mess with the graphics settings to get exactly what you want. You know, better frame rate, better graphics, more battery life. It's going to be up to you to mess around and really find the balance. But things run generally very well, like really well. Yes, it's not going to run every game. You can't technically hop into your Steam version of Destiny 2 on here, especially because they might ban your ass. But like, there are going to be lots of blanks in your libraries that hopefully fill out over time. But generally, this thing runs a lot of games surprisingly well. I've been pretty satisfied. Maybe it's the types of games I play, but I'm into it. And we're going to be showcasing some full screen gameplay here. We docked it, hooked it up to a mouse and keyboard, and like captured it on the screen. So it's blown up and it doesn't look great here on YouTube. It doesn't do it justice because of the low resolution, but think about it running on a smaller screen. It's pretty wild. We played a bunch of Elden Ring, a brand new game on this device. Totally playable. Resident Evil 2 remake at 60 FPS. We played a bunch of Batman Arkham Knight on high settings at about 60 FPS. We played God of War, totally fun and playable state. We played The Witcher 3, which, again, like, I know it's an older game now. It still feels like a miracle. Like, good draw distances, detail, a mix of high and medium settings, and getting just under 60 frames per second. We played old games like my favorite, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, a bunch of PC-focused stuff like we mentioned earlier with City Skylines. All games are marked and labeled to know just how playable they are. Now, some just straight up aren't, but a really good amount are, and like I said, this keeps being updated. Some are marked as having full controller support, some aren't, like stuff like that. And with Steam's built-in tools, it's fairly easy to configure controller support how you want. Again, you know, it's not perfect, and if you play mostly multiplayer games, you're gonna have a worse time, but there's a lot of games and options here, and a lot of that is thanks to Valve and the Steam PC community. Now, battery life, you might not be surprised here. It's not great. Averages are all over the place depending on what type of game you play. You know, small indie, big AAA, how much you have the graphics turned up, how much you have the brightness up. But it's usually just a handful of hours. Now, we don't want to give like definitive numbers too much because it's going to vary so much. But at the very least, Valve gives a lot of control. You know, with a right-hand tab, you can access all kinds of things like a frame counter, a performance tracker, and you can choose how much detail you want to see at a glance. Like, how hardcore are you? Do you want to see how much battery life the device will have if you want to continue running a game at a certain level? It's all there. You can limit your frame rate to 30. You can throttle things. You know, like I keep saying, Valve gives you a good amount of freedom to get it how you want and get what you specifically want out of it. And with playability and stuff, it gets better and better seemingly every couple of days, and Valve is always updating this thing. So if you are holding off on getting it, or maybe you have it pre-ordered and your window is like so far in the future, I would actually confidently say don't worry about it. More and more stuff is getting figured out on this thing pretty daily, both with Valve support and, like I said, the community tweaks. And speaking of that, the fact that this device is totally open is great. It's a huge win. I've been able to easily, with holding the power button, jump into a full desktop overlay version of Linux and set up more stuff, like emulators that I can, then add as a game and access right from my SteamOS library. I'm talking like Dolphin, the GameCube emulator, and they just work. Granted, you're going to need to do some specific tweakable things and maybe take advantage of the micro SD card slot, but if you could find a guide and follow some directions, you could do a lot here. And it's the freedom of the product and being able to do what we want with it, but also the Linux community and years of support and putting the work in that now we can reap the benefits, and we gotta thank them for that. Now, of course, some people just want a simple, streamlined product that just works, and this comes about as close as it can, really. It's not perfect, but it's not a hot mess. And I think the payoff is worth it, really. And I also think the way the SteamOS is designed and how it's like a gateway drug into deeper things makes the learning curve pretty good. Now, when this thing was announced, Valve confirmed that you could just put Windows on it if you wanted. And I thought I was going to find myself wanting to do that, with how I have my libraries in different places. But with how much stronger both Linux and Steam have gotten and how they're implemented here, I don't really want to do that anymore. I've been able to accomplish a lot on this thing. I've been able to get Epic Games Launcher on here too. It's not not perfect, but I have been able to download, install, and kind of run Sifu. It runs decently, but it crashes a lot, so still, it's a work in progress with certain things, but it is exciting, and I just want to make that clear. And I've talked to some people who, like, this is going to be their first PC gaming device. I mean, think about it. The entry-level version, it's like $400. That's cheaper than a PS5 or a new Xbox or even a gaming PC. So some people are considering using this to get their feet wet. And I think if they stick to SteamOS and play it safe and have a little bit of patience, they'll have a great time. Just know what you're getting into, though. You know, watch a few more videos, not just ours. Read some more articles, do your research, get educated on this, take in multiple opinions, but I think you're in for some fun, depending on what type of consumer you are. And I think if you're like me and you're a bit more of a PC gamer and you like messing with stuff, you're gonna have a hell of a time. So there you have it, kids. I freaking love this thing. There are setbacks. There are things you're gonna have to deal with. It is not a device that just works sometimes, but I think it's totally worth it if this is your type of thing. We talked a lot about freedom throughout this video, different choices you have now as a player of games. If your choices or your way of playing games kind of lines up with this, whether it's the lifestyle or the ecosystem or whatever, I think it's a go for it, especially at the price point and just what Valve accomplished here. I really hope they stick with it. I really hope it goes places. I hope this is the next big thing for them, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I would like to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think? Do you have one on pre-order? Are you curious? Did you get yours day one? Were you one of the lucky people to get a Q1 pre-order? Let me know what your first impressions are. If you're someone that has no interest in pre-ordering one or got one, I'd also love to know your perspective. Maybe you just have one platform or console you stick to. Maybe you just like your good old-fashioned desktop PC. I'd love to know your perspective as well. Let's talk about anything Steam Deck and Valve and their approach, or anything really. Hit us up down in the comments. We'll be down there as much as possible, but things get a little crazy. You know, we're almost at like 7 million subscribers now. Thank you, by the way. But yeah, let us know down in the comments. But if you want to hit me up directly, yell at me, ask me some questions, hit me up on Twitter and Instagram and my other YouTube channel, all just Jake Baldino. But thank you guys for being here for yet another hardware review. We don't do them often, but we love making these. So thank you for watching. Thank you for showing up. Hopefully we helped you out. I'm Jake Baldino. Have a good one, guys. Pizza's on me.